We need to talk about a threat that is already here and it's completely tearing down digital security as we know it. I'm talking about AI-powered impersonation, and honestly, it's moving way faster than almost anyone can keep up with. Let's dive in.
Just pause for a second and really think about that. That next video call you jump on, the next email you get from your boss, how can you actually be sure? Look, this isn't science fiction anymore. We have officially entered an era where our basic ability to trust what we see and hear is the #1 thing under attack.
Now, the insights we're about to break down for you come from a really important study called the 2026 Workforce Impersonation Report. It gives us a shockingly clear picture of how AI is being weaponized and, more importantly, what on earth we can do about it.
What we're facing right now is nothing short of an impersonation epidemic. You know, what used to be a really niche threat that required some serious skills is now a mainstream problem. And the reason for this explosion? Generative AI.
Tools you've probably heard of, like ChatGPT and Sora, have made creating incredibly convincing fake identities, well, incredibly easy. The line between a real person and a digital clone has gotten so blurry that we just can't afford to blindly trust what we see online anymore.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, the report zeroes in on 6 specific weapons that attackers are using right now. Let's walk through them one by one.
First up, the one everyone's talking about, deepfakes. We're talking about synthetic audio, video, images, you name it, that are now pretty much indistinguishable from the real thing. This isn't just for making funny videos anymore. It's a seriously powerful tool for fraud.
And if you think it's not a big deal, get this. This is how much the engineering firm Arup lost. An employee got tricked into joining a video call where every single person on the call, including the company's CFO, was a deepfake. $25 million. Just gone.
And it's only getting easier for the bad guys. The report predicts the rise of something they're calling deepfakes as a service, or DaaS. Just think of it like off-the-shelf attack kits, lowering the bar so that almost anyone can launch a really sophisticated deepfake scam.
Okay, the second threat targets the human element, your company's IT help desk. Attackers, like the infamous group Scattered Spider, are literally just calling up support. They pretend to be employees who are locked out, and they trick the support staff into resetting passwords and even multi-factor authentication. They're hitting trust right where it's weakest.
Now you're probably thinking, but wait, multi-factor authentication, or MFA, that keeps me safe, right? Well, it's not the silver bullet we thought it was. Attackers are using tactics like push fatigue, where they just spam you with login requests over and over until you accidentally approve one to get right past it.
They're also using some more advanced techniques like adversary in the middle, or AIM. What this basically means is they digitally wedge themselves between you and the service you're trying to log into. This lets them steal your session token and hijack your account even after you've successfully logged in.
Fourth on the list, the classics have gotten a serious upgrade. Phishing emails and phishing, that's voice phishing over the phone, are now supercharged by AI. These messages are hyper-personalized, using info scraped from all over the web to sound incredibly real, making them almost impossible to spot. Okay, this next threat is absolutely wild. We're seeing state-sponsored hiring fraud. We're talking about thousands of IT workers from North Korea using completely fake identities to get remote jobs at companies all over the world. And their goal? To steal money, data, and source code right from the inside.
And finally, let's take a peek at what's coming next, agentic AI. These are basically autonomous AI agents that can act on their own. The danger here is that once they get inside a system, they can be hijacked to do malicious things, like exporting all your sensitive data. And it all looks like a legitimate process, completely flying under the radar of any human oversight.
So, we've seen the threats, and they are scary. But the real question is, why are they so effective? The answer comes down to a fundamental flaw in how we think about security, something the report calls the identity assurance gap.
This right here is the absolute heart of the problem. Our security systems are fantastic at verifying what you have, password, security key, your phone, but they do almost nothing to verify who you are, the actual human beings sitting behind the screen. And that is the exact gap that attackers are pouring through.
As Chris O'Rourke from Cloudflare puts it, the reality is that many companies don't actually know who they're hiring and onboarding. I mean, think about that. They're handing over the keys to the kingdom without truly verifying the person, creating this massive risk from day one.
Okay, so that's the problem. And yeah, it's a big one.
But the report doesn't just ring the alarm bell and run away. It actually gives us a really clear path forward. There is a way to build a new security model that can close this trust gap.
The report lays out a pretty straightforward, two-step approach. First, companies have to adopt truly phishing-resistant MFA. This means getting away from those easily tricked push notifications and using things like physical security keys that can't be remotely phished. But that's not enough. The second and absolutely critical step is to add workforce identity verification.
So that brings us to Workforce Identity Verification, or IDV. It's a process that proves you are who you claim to be. How? By scanning a government ID, like a driver's license, and then taking a live selfie to prove your face matches the photo on the ID. It's all about verifying the person, not just their password or their phone.
And look, this isn't just some theory. This is where the entire industry is heading. Derek Hansen from Yubico says the goal is to get rid of these weak, phishable processes from the enterprise altogether. Combining strong authentication with true identity verification is really the only way forward.
When you boil it all down, this is about more than just tech. It's about rebuilding trust itself in an age where seeing is no longer believing. The old model of just checking someone's credentials once when they're hired is totally obsolete. The future has to be about continuous identity assurance. And that really brings us to the final, critical question I want to leave you with. As AI keeps getting smarter and more capable, the challenge of proving who's real and who's not is only going to get harder. So who and what are you going to trust to keep you secure?
Hey, if you found this breakdown valuable, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It's a huge help for us, and it lets us keep making more explainers on complex topics just like this one. Thanks so much for watching.